Hello friends, my name's Emile, and welcome back to Reach the Peak, the show where you guys recommend the cars, and then I take them up our hill climb course to see which one can come out on top. Today I have 5 vehicles for you here as usual, and we're going to be kicking things off with the same way we kicked off last episode, with another upgrade hero. This time however, it is the 2014 Lexus RC-F Upgrade Hero. 467 horsepower, 388 foot-pound of torque, 3,991 pounds of weight. This is an S1 class car, 836 MPI when equipped with the snow tyres. So unlike last time out where the Upgrade Hero GT86 gave us almost 900 horsepower to play with, the RCF Upgrade Hero is not quite as crazy. Essentially what it does is it adds the Rocket Bunny body kit. It gives the car full tyre whips and race tyres, although we changed them over to snows as part of this series. The race springs and dampers and the race anti-roll bars, and that's what it does. So essentially it stiffens the car up and adds this body kit and bigger tyres. So a bit of a mixed bag when you think sort of the surface we're driving this on. The race springs and dampers, you do not want hard suspension for this course because it usually means the car gets buffeted and bounced around a lot. But, you know, that body kit providing good, the wider wheels is of course a good thing, and, well, just look at that wing on the back. That is a magnificent, mighty wing on this car. That might be one of the biggest wings in the game, as far as I'm aware. It's an absolutely great wing. I kind of like the RCF Rocket Bunny, I do have to secretly admit, although I don't really usually like these meme kits, but, yeah, the RCF one's fine. Anyways, what's it like to drive? It's fine. It is a heavy feeling car. 3,991 pounds. That's a lot of weight. The RCF is not a small car. It's a very, very heavy bitch. And, you know, being kind of heavy and having 467 horsepower going through the rear wheels, of course, does make this feel kind of muscle car-ish. And I guess the RCF is sort of a muscle car in quite a few ways. So yeah, that's what it feels like to me. Not the best handling of vehicles. I certainly wouldn't recommend it, but it's not the worst thing I've driven up here. You know, certainly, you know, between this and the Challenger Hellcat, I'd much rather go for this because I'm not constantly trying to keep it in check like with the Challenger Hellcat. But yeah, a kind of disappointing car to drive overall though, if I'm being honest. So that's that one. Next up we have another upgrade hero, and another upgrade hero that doesn't really add a huge amount of power but is more about the actual, well, body kit itself. This is 2012 Nissan GT-R Upgrade Hero. 542 horsepower, 466 foot-pound of torque, 3,914 pounds of weight. S1 class car, 893 MPI when equipped with the snow tyres. So similar to the RCF, this upgrade hero provides the Rocket Bunny kit, or is this a Liberty Walk? I don't know, they're all the same to me. It provides a body kit, bigger tyres, race tyres which of course have been switched out, the race springs and dampers, and the race anti-roll bars. However, unlike the RCF, this upgrade hero should be very interesting indeed because we've had the standard GTR up here already, and it sets a blisteringly quick lap time, 203.4 I believe, which is pretty darn high on our leaderboard. So I was kind of interested to see how the upgrade hero would cope, and honestly the upgrade hero provides more, it does more bad than it does good for the GTR when it comes to this course. First off, those race springs and dampers lower the car. The body kit, you know, naturally means that it's lower to the ground anyway because of all the splitters, and that hurts this car tremendously. I've done jumps on this car where it basically just stopped dead. It certainly loses a lot of speed over the jumps when it just crash lands, and that is not a good thing. It also means the ride quality isn't as good as it is in the standard car, which means you can hop all over the place, which, as you're about to see, not the best thing. You know, the wider tyres are fine, but the problem is the GTR has all-wheel drive. It has good handling from stock, so it was never really in need of these bigger tyre widths. But you can just see here on the ice section, it's just getting bumped around, and you just can't take as much speed as you want to through there. So yeah, honestly, if you're gonna be doing some snow driving, I would highly recommend not using the upgrade hero kit, or not using the body kit with the race suspension. It just doesn't work very as well as the standard car, which is a bit of a shame. Although of course we'll see at the end time-wise whether those wider tyres have managed to make the difference for the GTR. Anyways, moving on once again to the 2008 BMW M3 E92, 414 horsepower, 295 foot-pound of torque, 3,649 pounds of weight. This is, surprisingly enough, the least powerful car and the least torquey vehicle here today. So yeah, you know it's a very powerful episode when this is our least powerful car. Now, of course, this is the V8 M3, one of the ones people seem to like a lot. You know, everyone's favourite seems to be the E46, but the E92 is certainly up there for quite a few people. Once this car has gone up the course, it does of course mean that I've actually done all of the M3s in the game up here, and well, to end it off, the E92 was actually a surprisingly good car. I'm not a huge fan of the E92, I've got to be honest. I'm very much take it or leave it. I don't know, it's about on the same level as the E46 for me. I just don't really care about this car, if I'm being honest. But what I can't take away from it is it's a very smooth car to drive. It is fine. You know, it's a consistent feeling car, let's say that much, you know. It does slide a fair bit, but it's decent over the bumps. It has a pretty good ride. All things considered, you know, it deals with the bumps pretty darn well. The suspension isn't too horribly race set up or anything. It's a good car, which is of course a good thing. You know, I like it when the cars drive good. Yeah, you know, it's fine. It's nothing special. You know, as sort of alright as it is, as smooth as it is. There's nothing hugely special to define this car. Out of all the M3s I've driven up here, this is probably one of the better ones. You know, I wasn't a huge fan of the E46 or the E36 from what I remember. You know, the E30 was pretty good, but that doesn't have anywhere near the power. So I'd have to say, you know, based on all-roundedness, probably the best M3 overall in the game. But still, I don't know. I'm just not a fan, really, of this vehicle. And again, it's just nothing special. You know, BMWs just don't really tickle me too much, so maybe that's just the issue there, I guess. Next up, from a bunch of vehicles which probably shouldn't be going up a snowy hill climb course, the one that almost certainly should be. This is the 2014 Baldwin Trophy, 800 horsepower, 690 foot-pound of torque, 6,390 pounds of weight. This is the most powerful car, torquiest vehicle, and the heaviest. It is a 796 in PI when equipped with the snow tyres, which it is equipped with from standard. Well, this is equipped with the dirt tyres from standard because they turned snow tyres, so yeah, it's equipped with snow tyres from a standard. So, the Baldwin Trophy truck, I've got to say, this isn't a vehicle which, you know, I don't particularly use these trophy trucks. I'm not a huge fan of these vehicles, you know. I think they have their place in the game, certainly, and I'm sure a load of people find this fun, but it just, they aren't really my thing. That being said, you know, the last time I drove a vehicle which was sort of in this class that wasn't really my thing, the Penhold Koala, that did really very well, you know, rear wheel drive car, rear engine, not a lot of power, but it did set a blisteringly good time up here. So, the Baldwin I wasn't too sure what to expect from. Ultimately, it's alright. It's got a lot of power for the rear wheels to deal with, which is a bit of an issue. One of the biggest issues with the Baldwin is the gearbox. It has 3 speeds, which I believe most of the trophy trucks do. Don't quote me on that, I think it might be a requirement. But, yeah, the very, very long gears, of course, as you expect from a 3-speed gearbox, which didn't help this vehicle. You know, it spent a lot of its time just trying to build up those revs, and once you've, you know, finally built them up, you either have to go into a corner, or all of the power decides it wants to escape the rear wheels, and yeah, you know, there's no gentle power delivery with this thing, it's just all power all the time. And it just wasn't a very good vehicle to drive, ultimately. Probably one of my least favourite vehicles to drive of the day, you know, if I'm being honest. You know, it's just wasn't very good. Just wasn't very inspiring, which is a bit of a shame, you know. I would have liked to see the trophy truck surprise me and be really good in some way, but it just isn't. You know, it just isn't a diamond in the rough or anything. It's nothing. So, yeah, a bit of a shame with the Baldwin there, but I can't say I wasn't completely expecting it. And, well, oh boy, it's time for our final car of today. It's the 1965 Shelby Cobra, 425 horsepower, 500 foot-pound of torque, 2,350 pounds of weight. It still makes me laugh to say that figure because that is ridiculously low for the amount of torque and power this vehicle's dealing with. It is the lightest vehicle of today, of course. A-Class got 786 in PI when the snow tyres. That does mean that it's the lowest in PI for today, which kind of surprised me. The PI actually stayed with an A-Class with the snow tyres, because most of these most of these classic muscle cars just shoot up PI when you equip them with any form of tyres. But you know, the Shelby doesn't jump up too much. Anyways, the Cobra. I can't say I've ever really been a huge fan of the Shelby Cobra. It's just not my sort of thing, you know. I appreciate a lot of people love this car, but for me personally, I just don't really care about it. But driving, oh boy, it is slidey. It's slidey all the time. It never stops sliding. It just drifts everywhere. You know, I've driven this thing around the Top Gear track a few times with the dry and the wet. I've driven this thing just casually driving. The Cobra just slides. That's what it does. That's, you know, what happens when you put a lot of power into a very, very small chassis. It spins a lot. It is quite a tricky car to drive up here, I will say that much because of that. However, gotta say, it's kind of fun to drive up here. You know, it is ridiculous watching a Shelby Cobra tackle a snowy hill climb course, and don't try it. You know, don't try it if you actually want to do well, I should say. Try it if you want to have fun and probably end up killing yourself with 425 horsepower of very, very light car. But yeah, you know, the Cobra, it's crazy. It is a crazy, crazy contraption. I have no idea who. It's just I don't know, but yeah, it's kind of, I can imagine if you all-wheel drive swap it, and I know that sounds like heresy, and do a bunch of rally mods to it, it could actually be probably a very, very quick off-road car, but as it stands stock, nope, it's just a lot of sliding and a lot of fun ultimately. Anyways, onto the times, and well, the Nissan GT-R Upgrade Hero is the fastest car today. However, only 205.159. That means that it is actually 2 seconds slower than the standard GT-R. I told you the Upgrade Hero just really did not provide that car any advantages. You know, stiff suspension, lower ride height didn't help that car at all. Moving down the barrel some more, the RCF Upgrade Hero goes into 49th with a 215.135, just off of the Silvia S15 Upgrade Hero, interestingly enough. Does marginally beat out the Jaguar F-Type R, which I guess, you know, that's about what you'd expect the RCF to place. Nothing particularly special from that car, but, you know, not a bad time nonetheless. Baldwin Trophy truck is in 58th place with a 216.403, stuck between 22B and a 340R. Weird place for a trophy truck to be, but that's where it is. The M3 E92 is in 61st with a 216.871, fractionally off of the Lancer Evo 9, a little bit quicker than the 92 Honda NSX. Pretty decent time for a sports car, all things considered, from the E92, so yeah, it should be pretty proud of that time. And finally today, the Shelby Cobra goes into 70th with a 218.473, again, fractionally beaten by the Lancia Delta HF Integrale. It is faster than the Vauxhall Astra and the Dodge Viper GTS, which is pretty good going when you consider the car had no handling at all, but I guess that straight line speed is very good in that vehicle. Anyways friends, I want to thank you all very much for watching. My name has been The Real Emile. As always, if you have cars you'd like to request for this series, simply leave them down below in the comment section and I will add them to my list. With that all being said and done, friends, thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a farewell.